the Democratic ticket is now set and the November elections are coming into focus in Virginia.
State Senator Ghazala Hashmi and former Delegate Jay Jones joining winning close races to becoming the party's nominees for Lieutenant Governor and Attorney General, respectively. Capitol Bureau reporter Tyler Englander spoke to both Hashmi and Jones today.
Both Ghazala Hashmi and Jay Jones say they're honored to join former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger on the Democratic ticket, while adding they're turning their attention to the general election in November. Tonight, the November ballot is coming into focus in Virginia. In the race for Lieutenant Governor, Democratic State Senator Ghazala Hashmi will face off against former radio host John Reed. Hashmi saying her campaign will focus on what she's prioritized throughout her legislative career, working families.
I intend to focus on the legislative work that I have been doing, the results that we've seen because of the policy efforts that have been made by Democrats in the General Assembly. And I think those differences are going to be quite clear and stark to voters.
Meanwhile, with Hashmi currently serving as chair of the Senate Education and Health Committee, Reed says he wants to make education the focal point of his campaign.
She's got to own the responsibility for some of the really divisive and negative policies that have gone through in the Commonwealth of Virginia and are impacting students and families negatively.
In the race for Attorney General, former Delegate Jay Jones will challenge Republican incumbent Attorney General Jason Miyares. Jones criticizing Miyares today for failing to stand up to the Trump administration.
Jason Miyares has had every opportunity over the last 5 months to demonstrate that he's going to work for us, to protect us, to fight for us, to do his job. He's not joined any of these lawsuits to protect the interests of Virginia that would put us in a much better position. Instead, he's left us out to dry.
However, for his part, Miyares said in a statement, quote, "My opponent's ideological record makes Virginia families less safe and our streets more violent. The law is a shield to keep people safe, not a sword for social justice warriors or a platform for grand social experiments." And now another aspect to this race is just how unified both parties are. Both Hashmi and Jones telling me they're looking forward to working with each other and the Democratic nominee for governor, Abigail Spanberger. Meanwhile, on the Republican side, John Reed said today he and Winsome Earl Sears, the Republican nominee for governor, haven't even spoken in recent weeks. In Richmond, I'm Tyler Englander.
10 on your side is your local election headquarters. Virginians turned out en masse to choose the Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor and Attorney General. And as of this morning, results show more than 485,000 ballots were cast for the Lieutenant Governor nominee. That number higher than the total votes cast in the same race in 2021. And that's when Democrats also had a primary for governor. But a political science professor tells our Capitol Bureau the primary doesn't give us much insight into who will win in November.
I think this doesn't necessarily reset the race. It suggests, I think, the Democrats that whatever they've been doing is working and they should continue to do it. But for Republicans, I think they haven't had a test yet, right? They haven't had a big primary that would show them what they're doing is working or not, whether they have to change their strategies.
Also important to note, there could still be some mail-in provisional ballots outstanding as well. That could affect the turnout numbers slightly when results are finalized.
WAVY TV is your local election headquarters, and a 10 on your side exclusive. The chairman of the Republican National Committee says he is committed to making sure Winsome Earl Sears is the next governor of Virginia.
Tyler Englander explains what role the RNC will play in Virginia this fall.
RNC Chair Michael Whatley telling me that the RNC's efforts in Virginia will focus on two things: a Get Out the Vote campaign and a Protect the Ballot initiative. With Election Day a little more than 100 days away, RNC Chair Michael Whatley says Republicans are committed to winning in the Commonwealth this November. Whatley saying a lot of the RNC's resources will be used on a Get Out the Vote campaign.
When you think about grassroots and you think about the victory teams that are going to be on the ground where we're recruiting and training volunteers to make phone calls knocking on doors and getting out literature.
And to protect the ballot initiative.
To make sure that we have the right rules of the road in place and that we've got volunteers that are going to be, in every precinct where a vote is cast or a vote is counted.
Whatley saying he hopes to cast Republicans as the common sense candidates, even with recent polling showing 55% of Virginians don't approve of the job President Donald Trump is doing in Washington.
This is all about jobs and economy. This is all about making sure that our kids and our communities are safe. This is all about making sure that Virginia is leading when it comes to our national security posture around the world, and making sure that we can connect Winsome Sears and her policies with those issues that Virginia voters care about.
Last week, I spoke with DNC Chair Ken Martin about Virginia's elections. To see that interview, you can head over to our website. At the state capitol, I'm Tyler Englander.
10 on your side is your local election headquarters. Sunday will mark 100 days until Election Day in Virginia. Both Republicans and Democrats say they feel good about their chances in November. Capitol reporter Tyler Englander spoke with leaders of both parties.
I spoke with Senator Lamont Bagby, chairman of the Democratic Party of Virginia, and Senator Mark Peake, chairman of the Republican Party of Virginia. They both say over the next 100 days, their goal is to get their message out to as many Virginians as possible. Bagby says that message includes explaining to voters how Democrats plan to invest in Virginia's public education system and make it easier for Virginians to access affordable health care. Meanwhile, Peake says Republicans want voters to know they're the common sense pro-energy party focused on supporting law enforcement.
Abigail Spanberger, Gonzalo Hashmi, J. Jones, and all 100 of the House candidates are getting out in the community, going to parades, meeting communities where they are. And we feel excited about not only what they're hearing there, but also what we're seeing in the polls.
We've got a list of voters who typically vote in presidential elections, but not state elections. And we're going to be working that list very hard to make sure they turn out.
Election Day might be 100 days from Sunday, but early voting is right around the corner, starting on September 19th. At the state capitol, I'm Tyler Englander.
10 on your side is your local election headquarters, and starting tonight, voters in Virginia Beach have a chance to learn about the referendum question that will once again determine how they elect council members and the mayor.
It has been an ongoing question tied up in court battles. Should the city continue with the 10-1 system or revert back to the 7-3-1 system? 10 on your side's Michael Rinker joins us live in Virginia Beach to explain the referendum question and what a yes or no vote means. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, Katie and Kiana. Both systems have been used in the past here in Virginia Beach, with the 10-1 being the most recent in 2022 and 2024. Now, advocates for both systems say their preferred version, gives voters more power. Now, this referendum question voters in Virginia Beach will see on the ballot. It reads as such: should the method of city council elections set forth in the Virginia Beach City Charter be changed from a modified 7-3-1 system to a 10-1 system? Now, a yes vote means that you support the 10-1 system. It was used in the 2022 and 24 city council elections. The 10-1 system divides the city into 10 districts where a voter will only decide who represents their district, with the mayor being the only seat decided by the entire city. A no vote means you support the 7-3-1 system described in the current city charter. The 7-3-1 system divides the city into 7 districts. Residents in each district elect 1 representative to the city council, and they can also vote for 3 at-large council members as well as the mayor. In 2021, a U.S. district judge ruled that the 7-3-1 system disenfranchises minority voters. And those in favor of the 7-3-1 system say it gives a single voter more power by having a say on more than one race for city council. Proponents of the 10-1 method believe this will create the most diverse version of the city council that we've seen in Virginia Beach. Now, this is going to be in the hands of the voters. The election takes place on November 4th, and the city of Virginia Beach has extended different ways that residents can get informed on the referendum, and it starts tonight at the Princess Anne Rec Center. That'll be at 5 to 7, and you can also find more information on the city's website, but also more on the timeline of events that brought us here and this referendum vote in November over on our website, at WAVY.com. Live in Virginia Beach, Michael Rinker, 10 on your side.
10 on your side is your local election headquarters. The August jobs report is out and it shows a job creation slowdown last month.
Yeah, that's right. Some political experts say the lackluster job report could signal trouble for the Republican Party in Virginia's November elections. Capitol Bureau reporter Tyler Englander explains.
The latest report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that hiring has slowed in the U.S. and the unemployment rate is rising nationwide. Does the latest jobs report spell trouble for Republican Winsome Earl-Sears in the Virginia governor's race?
It's absolutely true that voters will blame the party in power for the economy, whether or not it's fair to.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. added just 22,000 jobs in August, and the nation's unemployment rate grew to 4.3%, its highest level since 2021. The report coming as Virginia's unemployment rate has seen a steady increase since January. Rich Marr is a professor of political science at Randolph-Macon College.
Everything that Winsome Earl-Sears does this year is going to be harder. Every move that she makes, every ad that she tries to craft, every message she tries to put out there, it's going to be a little more sluggish, a little harder if the economy and the economic fortunes are against her.
Marr saying to try and counter the bad news nationally, Virginia Republicans might point to key economic investments recently made in the Commonwealth. Plus, he says Republicans may try and make the election about other issues.
You'll notice that Winsome Earl-Sears is talking a lot these days about transgender policies. That is an effort to change the subject, to point the arrow and the attention of voters away from things like the economy and cost of living towards issues where Earl-Sears thinks that she has a stronger shot of winning.
In Virginia last week, a little less than 2,400 people filed for unemployment insurance, an increase of 30% compared to the same time last year. At the state capitol, I'm Tyler Englander.
10 on your side is your local election headquarters. New campaign finance reports are giving us a peek into where things stand just days before early voting begins in the Commonwealth. Tyler Englander is following the funds.
Democratic gubernatorial nominee Abigail Spanberger and the party's nominee for lieutenant governor Ghazala Hashmi both hold cash-on-hand advantages. However, in the race for attorney general, it's Republican Jason Miyares who has more cash to spend. With early voting set to begin in just a few days, Democrat Abigail Spanberger has more than $12 million in the bank. That's compared to her Republican opponent, Winsome Earl-Sears, who has just under $5 million to spend in the campaign's final weeks.
Having that advantage means you can just make sure there's not a single voter in the Commonwealth who hasn't at least heard your name and gotten some kind of message from you.
Meanwhile, the Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor Ghazala Hashmi holds a $1.9 million cash-on-hand advantage over Republican John Reed.
I think John Reed is not going to be happy about his fundraising totals, but I think he's trying a different approach. Like, I don't think that Reed or his campaign have ever thought that the big money's going to roll in. I think he's trying to work his grassroots connections.
And although Jay Jones, the Democratic nominee for Attorney General, out-fundraised his Republican opponent Jason Miyares during the last filing period, Miyares still maintains a healthy cash-on-hand advantage of nearly $3.5 million.
Some people, and some powerful people with a big checkbook, believe that Miyares has a good, strong position here.
Early voting begins on Friday at your local registrar's office. In Richmond, I'm Tyler Englander.
7:03, 10 on your side is your local election headquarters. Today, early voting gets underway in Virginia.
From now until November 4th, Virginians will cast their ballots that will decide key races from governor to local tickets like school board and sheriff. 10 on your side's Michael Rinker joins us live in Norfolk with more on early voting.
Yeah, good morning, Julia and Katie. Today is the start of that early voting period. It'll last into November, and that means anybody who is registered to vote in Virginia is able to start today casting their ballot. Now, you just have to make sure you're going to the proper location to send in your ballot today. but also when you arrive there, you don't have to apply to early vote. Anybody could do it. You just have to be registered. That's the only thing. When you get to that voting location, you're going to make sure that they're going to confirm your name, your address, and then you'll also have to provide an acceptable form of identification. And this November election is going to be a historic one in Virginia. We're going to be electing our first female governor, but it's also one where every single seat in the House of Delegates is up for grabs. It's 100 different delegates, and it's also a lot of different races going through Hampton Roads. Virginia Beach has a referendum that could shake up their city council. There are a number of counties and cities that will be voting on school board members. Some counties will be electing sheriffs and also board of supervisors. So there's a lot at play here. But if you're somebody who typically likes to go on this first Tuesday of November to vote, if you want to do early voting this year, it's not too much different.
Be campaign people still outside that 40-foot line. You'll see the candidate signs. People may approach you requesting you to vote for their particular candidate and passing out flyers. But once you pass that safety zone, you'll come inside our office. Our people are here with a smile on their face, happy to greet you.
Now, early voting is extended all the way to November 1st. You have until October 24th to register to vote or to request a mail-in ballot. So those are some hard deadlines you need to look forward to. And then if you want to find more about local races happening in your area or more about the candidates on the statewide tickets, you can go over to our website, WAVY.com. We have a breakdown of those races there. Live in Norfolk, Michael Rinker, 10 on your side.